Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dramimam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyem Akshabhirya Jatra Sthiraya Rangai Sushtuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayu Swasti na Indro Vridhashrava Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastaksho arishtanemi Swasti no brahaspatir dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are still making our way through the second chapter. Last week, we went through all these various schools of thought that were prevalent at the time of Gaudapada, where he shows how they have the inability to, one, talk about, is there a cause for the universe? And how has it really come about? He sees the errors of it. So he said, in the end, all of these don't work. So what verse are we on today?
29.
29, chapter 2, verse 29.
Yam bhavam darshayedhyasya tam bhavam sa tu pashyati tam chavati sa bhutvasao tadgraha samupaititam. The seeker recognizes only that idea which is presented to him by his master. The Atman assumes the form of what is recognized and thus protects the inquirer. Possessed by that exclusive idea, he comes to realize it as the only sole truth.
So, as Krishna says in Gita, whatever way people approach me, so am I to them. For example, in our modern era, in Europe with deep roots in Christianity, specifically Catholicism, we have the three ladies, youngsters in Portugal at Fatima, who have a vision of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Even in Mexico, they have a vision of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We have the vision of the Virgin at Lourdes. I've yet to meet a Hindu who's had a vision rather, of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And I can remember some of my students were talking about hiking in the Himalayas with a bunch of swamis. And all of them had a vision of Lord Shiva rising out of the mountain. Oh, like half a dozen. I've yet to meet a Christian who's had a vision like that. Does the Virgin not go to India? Does Shiva not come to Mexico? All of this in the end is the mind. So whatever the teaching that comes to us from a teacher that we trust, especially, we believe. I have another friend who's really into channeling. They get together and they have these seances, and an ascended master, Lazarus, comes through and gives them teaching. Is this true or not true? Well, it's true for them. They find value in it. So the idea is not that any of these various other spiritual or religious traditions are wrong. But we Vedantins understand that all phenomena, without exception, is Vaidhatya. False. Remember our fourth mantra at the beginning of this chapter, where Gaudapada says, the phenomenal world is quite unreal, and the proof of its unreality is that you can see it. If it is knowable, cognizable, apprehendable, if it's a physical object, if it's an imagination, if it's a feeling, if it's a thought, that's not what's real. What's our definition of reality? Little gold ball with wings. What's our definition of reality?
That which can't be negated.
Yes. What is it that always is and is achalam, that never changes? I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. We have in the Christian teaching. Pretty true. All right, next verse.
एतैरेषो पृथग् भावै पृथग्गेवेति लक्षितः एवं यो वेद तत्त्वेन कल्पयेत्सो विशक्तितः. The self, though not separate from all these, appears as it were separate and distinct. One who truly realizes this alone can interpret the meaning of the Vedas without any hesitation or doubt.
Yeah. So in the Vedas, we have, just a quick review, the various portions of the Vedas. We have the mantra portion, which are hymns. We have the Brahmanas, which are rubrics. They're directions for priests on how to do various rituals. We have the Aranyakas, the forest literature, much of which is devotional. Some people tuck the Upanishads into that, some people split them out. That's the Jnana Kanda, the knowledge portion of the Vedas. And if you look only at the karma kanda, the ritual or the action portion of the Vedas, you find what seems to be contradictory from cosmology, anthropology. We find it in the Christian religion as well. Matthew and Luke, those two gospels, both have genealogies of Jesus Christ. And they're different. It may be factual, but it may not be. What is the truth? Prajnanam Brahma. Brahman. Ultimate reality is consciousness. Where is it? I am Atma. Brahma. This self is Brahman. Oh, Guruji, yourself is Brahman, I'm a worm. No. Tat Twam Si. You are that. That third one's called the Upadesha Mahavakya. All the various systems of yoga are gathered into that. And then at the moment of realization, the yogi goes, Aham Brahmasmi. Listen carefully. Moment of realization is not, I know Brahman. It's, I am Brahman. Now, in our yogic traditions, just to flesh out a little bit of what Gaudapada is saying, we essentially divide mystical experience into three schools. They have to do with the experiences of a particular mystic, a particular yogi. The first we call Dvaita. Dvi means two. Dvaita means the dualistic traditions. Orthodox Christianity and Judaism are dualistic. The only thing you need to know about God is you're not it. What am I supposed to do? Surrender. Love God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength. Now, in the end, one dissolves oneself in that worship. But at the beginning stages, I and God as I understand God or don't understand God are different. And the acme of that practice is mystic union. But mystic union in that tradition is an ecstatic experience. Oftentimes we find those traditions using the language of human love to express it. Anybody ever seen the Bernini statue of the ecstasy of Saint Teresa? Yeah. It's pretty X-rated, really. You can see her toes curling. I mean, she's, and there's the archangel with the sword, it's very phallic. It's the idea. This is the Dvaitins. And we have it not only in the West, but there are major schools within India that this is their practice. ISKCON, anybody here ever go to Hare Krishna temples and stuff like that? Yeah. They're wonderful people. It's a very, mainstream practice, but it's inherently dualistic. inherently dualistic. Who is Krishna? He's the supreme personality of Godhead. Worship Krishna. Then we have the Visishtadvaitins. This is qualified non-dualism. Main proponent of this was a saint named Ramanuja. And the idea is, I am an individual, but the core of my being is God. But the individuality is real. I'm the drop, God is the ocean. God is the fire, I'm the little spark. But they posit the reality of the individuality. And then we had the Advaitin schools. That is our tradition, Shankara. It's not monotheistic. Monotheism says there's only one God. It is monistic. There's only God. There's no otherness. That's the thunderous declaration of the Upanishads. But depending on your guru, depending on your cultural tradition, you will have a mystic experience as the culmination of that practice that corresponds to it. And you'll think that's real. Any thoughts on this? Going on, next verse.
स्वप्नमाये यथा दृष्टे गंधर्व नगरम यथा तथा विश्वम इदं दृष्टम वेदांतेषु विचक्षणैः. Just as the dream and magic are seen to be illusions, or as the palace city of the fairy Morgan is imagined in the sky, in the same manner, this whole universe is viewed as an illusion by the experienced Vedantins.
Yes, no, there's no thing in the scripture that talks about the fairy Morgan. That's a borrowed reference from Arthurian legends. It says Gandharva. Gandharva is a celestial damsel, is what it is. So just as all these things are stories. Now, there was actually a time in Europe where only silly women read novels. Why? Because they were fantasy. They were true. Serious people read things that were true. I think that way anymore, hopefully. But the Vedantin understands all systems of knowledge are themselves illusory. Now, wait a minute, Jim. Are you saying Vedanta is not real? You're making me nervous. Yes. Just like when you have a sliver in your finger. The old timey days, they used to use a thorn. Now we use a needle. Take the needle to remove the sliver from your finger. But when the sliver's gone, both are cast away. We're reading I Am That, great text by series of questions and answers with great sage Nisargadatta Maharaj. And there's one questioner who comes who's really quite well read, you could tell. And in the past, he had some experience where he was blissed out and felt one with everything, and everything was groovy and stuff like that. And he was wondering, was that liberation? Was that realization? And what Maharaj points out is it had a beginning and an end. It was a mind state. You are not a mind state. You are the eternal factor. So this can be a great trap. Now, nobody loves wackadoodle mind states more than I do. I'm an old hippie. But that's not it. It's just another worldly experience. So in the subtler, more advanced scriptures, it says, give up your attachment to the bliss of samadhi. Mind itself is unreal. Notice the eternal fact. Brahma Satyam Jagan Nitya. Brahman alone is real. Jagat, the phenomenal world, anything knowable, anything phenomenal. Nitya, illusion, a lie. Whereas we had the beginning of this chapter, it's titled Vaitatya, falseness. Next verse, next karika.
Na nirodho na chopatti na baddho na cha sadhaka na mumukshu na vaimukta ityesha paramarthata. There is neither dissolution nor birth, neither anyone in bondage nor any aspirant for wisdom. Neither can there be anyone who hankers after liberation nor any liberated as such. This alone is the supreme truth.
Yes. So in the end, we were talking before class about how we, in the end, remove the mumukshu, the seeker after liberation. Clearest example, if you have a dream that you're locked in jail in San Francisco, from the viewpoint of the dreamer, you need to get out of jail. But from the standpoint of the waker, do you need to get the dreamer out of jail?
No.
No. Listen very carefully. There are only two kinds of people in the world. Those who think they're a person. And that can be at the grossest level, oh, I'm a miserable creature. To those who think I'm spiritual, I'm getting close to realization, I've had this experience. I'm getting that experience. Is this it? Am I realized yet? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. Who's concerned about all this stupidity? Not the self. So to try as an ego to get to the point, I've got it now, is like wanting to attend your own funeral. It's like the person who's contemplating suicide. Oh, I can't wait to be at my funeral and see my mother. She's going to be so upset. It's all her fault. Oh, you won't be there. So in the end, we give up the mumukshu, the seeker after liberation. No personal sense of self is real. There's nobody in bondage. There's no person who gets liberated. Only I. So back to what we were talking about before class. What we do is we sublimate our desire for worldly things into the desire for liberation. What do we mean by sublimation? It's different than suppression. I like to use the example of the student who's in the dorm. It's Friday night. They've got a paper due Monday morning. And their friends come by and say, come on out. We're going to go have pizza and beer. Come hang out with us. And the student really wants to do it, but then says, no, this paper is more important. I really want to do well in this class. No, go ahead. You guys go. I'm going to stay in and finish my paper. So we sublimate a lesser desire into a greater desire. Everybody understand that process? Mm-hmm. So we sublimate our worldly desires into the desire for liberation. But in the end, that one has to. Yeah, but I thought I was going to get something fantastic. There's no I there to get anything. Listen very carefully. Mandukya Karika is a very advanced text. This is not a teaching we give to beginners or even intermediate students. Because if you renounce the mumukshu too soon, you're left with your miserable, suffering mind. And you can have the words, oh, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. It's not real. In other words, you end up rationalizing your suffering. So there's a process. But at the end, this chapter. The Shishya is not real. The student, the Guru is not real. The scripture's not real. There's no one involved in it. There's no person who gets liberated. Only that brings enormous peace to the mind, which is an illusion. Because all the struggling ceases then. There's nowhere to get. Now, how do I know if I should be giving up the mumukshu, the yogi? The world will tell you. We've talked about those three places where Guru shows up. The least significant is the external Guru. It's a temporary psychological device. Second place Guru shows up is in the circumstances of our lives. If I'm disturbed, no matter the cause, I'm the one, the klesha, the affliction, the defilement. I'm the one, the sangraha, attachment. I'm the one with jiva bhavana, identification. So if you're disturbed, seriously disturbed, then there's tapas. Hang on to the mumukshu. You will know. Third place of Guru is your own deepest wisdom. Self-realization is absolutely self-validating. You don't get an enlightenment certificate from the Guru. And if you know who you are, Lord Shiva himself is, oh, you've got more work to do. You know. I go nowhere. I am Tachala, unmoving. I can't be improved. I can't be diminished. Is that the last verse in this chapter?
No, this.
Okay, keep going.
Natma bhavena na nedam na swe napi kathanchana na prithang na prithak kinchit iti tatvat vido vidu. This manifold plurality does not exist as identified with the Atman, nor can it remain ever independently of itself. It is neither separate from Brahman, nor is the plurality non-separate from it. So say the realized wise men of the Upanishads.
Yes.
I
So-
believe we skipped one.
Oh,
33.
sorry. 33. Bhavair sadhirevayam dveyanna kalpitaha bhava apya dvaye naiva tasmad dvayata shiva. This Atman is imagined both as the unreal objects that are perceived and also as the non-dual. The objects are also imagined in the non-duality itself. Therefore, non-duality is the highest auspiciousness.
Yes. So the objects are imagined. But when I have the thought, oh, I am Brahman, that's also unreal. You can't think of real thought. Your mind just collapses. Listen carefully. Which is more real, a nightmare or a pleasant dream? So if your mind hiccups and you apparently get identified, all upset about this, that, and the other thing, so effing what? This is why it's so much easier to be Brahman than to be a yogi. I'm a yogi. I'm spiritual. I gotta live up to some internal idea. Being a goody goody. But I know I am Brahman. Whew. So much easier. None of this matters. Next verse. Just do the English chanting already.
This manifold plurality does not exist as identified with the Atman, nor can it remain ever independently of itself. It is neither separate from Brahman, nor is the plurality non-separate from it. So say the realized wise men of the Upanishad.
So Gita has this wonderful expression, sparsha yoga. The root is prichati, which means to touch. Asparsha means untouched. Sangoham, I'm unattached. But asparsha yoga means united or joined. So one of the clearest examples is the reflection in the mirror, the pratibimba. You go into the bathroom and look in the mirror. If two of us go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, there's plurality, there's two of us. But are the reflections in the mirror separate from the mirror? The mirror is just sthita, still established silver glass. The reflections appear. The mirror is not the reflections, but the reflections are nothing other than the mirror. Different people look in the mirror and the reflections change, but the mirror does not. The metaphor falls short because with the mirror you need an external object. In Brahman you do not. I'm not going to do it this morning, but if I bring out the crystal ball, hold it up. The crystal ball is spatika ghanam, a homogeneous mass of quartz crystal. It's stone. Yet we see images in it. Are the images there or not there? Certainly seen. But I can't take a stone saw and cut open the crystal ball and pull out the images. Are there images in the stone or not? Seen, but not real. all this is, as it were, like a dream. Take it easy. Don't worry. Nothing in the phenomenal world is necessary for my peace of mind. Something there is that is real, me. What is my problem? Where is my problem? My stupid mind. Yes, the mind is unreal. Why does my mind suffer? Because of spiritual ignorance. I think I'm the body. I think the world out there is inherently joy-giving or misery-producing. And I think the solution is to make efforts. What's the truth? Truth is, I'm okay. I am safe. Oh, nothing touches me. Nothing can harm me. And what about this world? Comes about like a hologram, like a movie. Yeah, but I really want such and such and so and so. Why do I want it? Force the past. There's no inherent pleasure in the world. Desire, object, desire become one. What do I get? A taste of myself. There's no such thing as worldly pleasure. It's a lie. Vishaya Ananda, the bliss of the objects, is just a taste of myself. It's like the person who wants to stomp on the head of their shadow. Never get there. Stapakartavya, literally translated as obligatory action, but it means struggling. I need to go from point A to point B in order to be happy, in order to be okay. So the person of steady wisdom finally knows where happiness is. What I'm looking for, I'm looking with. When are you ever not you? Any thoughts on this? It's so simple in the end. It's so obvious. Real spirituality is profound common sense. Doesn't take speaking Sanskrit, doesn't take a brilliant intellect. Yet such is the power of Maya. even having heard it over and over and over. How could they say that to me? Don't they know who I am? I have my rights. Next verse.
वीतराग भय क्रोध मुनिर्भिवद पारगैः निर्विकल्पो ह्ययं दृष्ट प्रपञ्चोपशमोद्वयः. By the great seers of old, who are without attachment, fear, and anger, who are deeply read and well established in the truths of the Upanishads, the self has been verily realized as totally devoid of all imaginations, and also that it is free from the illusions of the manifold world, and that it is eternally non-dual.
Yes. So, as is the tradition, no sage says, this is my good idea. They may say, this is my experience. But more frequently, they will say, this is what the Upanishads say. This is what the sages of old say. And here Gaudapada says, the self is nirvikalpa. A vikalpa is a movement. Nir means withoutness. And we always need to understand nirvikalpa from two viewpoints. The first, nirvikalpa samadhi, is the mind state of no mind. When all the vasanas have been exhausted. Swamiji used to use the metaphor of a helium balloon tied down by millions of little silk threads. What is the yogi doing? Snipping thread by thread by thread. And when the last attachment is, the balloon rises. Of course, it gets into the other upper atmosphere, expands and expands and expands, and then pop, the balloon falls down. Nirvikalpa samadhi. And then when the mind returns from that, it has the recognition, the pratyabhignana. Oh, there's nobody there. But the other definition of nirvikalpa, it's another name for myself. The scriptures say nirvikalpa is that state where the triple factor of knower, knowing, and known is gone or merged. When I'm perceiving the world, I have the sense of an individual knower, a praman, a means of knowledge, an object of knowledge. I, Jim, through seeing, know the bowl on the table. But when it comes to myself, how do you know you are you? Who knows it? I do. What's the means of knowledge? I have my magic flashlight. I shine it on myself. No. You are Swayambhu, self-evident. Swayam Jyoti, self-effulgent, self-luminous. The self is its own means of knowledge. What is known? Is it an object of knowledge? I saw it, there's the self. No. It is never known as an object. It is never known as an experience. Yet it is not unknown. Are not you? You know it. I don't know what I just do. Yeah. So the triple factor is merged in the direct experience. Can't even call it an experience. I am the knower. I is the means of knowledge. I is that which is known, but never as an object. And it is a constant, eternal, direct experience. Oh, I got up yesterday, Jim, and I didn't have a self. Whew. About 10 o'clock, my self came back. Nobody has that experience. Are you having a thought, Stephen?
Many.
I
Do I want to ask a question?
heard one coming.
Many. Terminating for a while. You were, maybe I misunderstood you, but you were talking about as realization deepens, the mind comes in, if I have the word right, the mind comes in alignment with that. So here the mind is always making something out of nothing. And that's the thought process. And realization as that real deeper and deeper sense comes of there is no self. The mind in itself becomes in alignment with that. It doesn't keep telling stories. Is that kind of what I heard you say?
That'll work.
Okay.
The mind commits psychic suicide.
Great.
The mind sees its own fundamental unreality. And that doesn't change the self. None of this changes the self. Both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. The self is ever free. From the position that Gaudapada is talking about. While from the standpoint of our vyavahara, our worldly experience, it's a big deal. But from the standpoint of the absolute, it's not real. Why is this important to understand? There's a condition that can happen called enlightenment sickness or second mind. When someone has had a samadhi and the mind comes back, it's then conditioned by, I know something significant. I'm pretty sure this is it. Then I better tell everybody about it so I can reinforce this idea that I'm somehow special. Making sense?
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. Now let that go. It's unfigureoutable. But the nature of the mind, is this it? I want to grab it. If I understood it, have I got it? Is this it? Is that
I like the way you're grabbing, because it does, you're grabbing air, which is exactly what you're doing all the time.
I'm feeling irritated like through these verses a little bit because I'm like, it's not this, then what is it? It's but
the
it's nothing
mind
else.
understands its own stupidity and futility. It gives up its own jonesing.
Like it's everything and nothing.
Again, words fall short. What words work for you, that's fine. What is real? That which is never subject to negation. All else is mithya. The only thing you will ever know for sure is aham. Next copy.
Tasmadevam viditvainam advaite yojayet smritam advaitam samano prapya jadavallo kamacharet. Therefore, having realized this Atman to be of such a nature, identify your mind with it, non-duality. Having realized fully the non-dual reality, thereafter move about in life as an inert, insentient thing.
Yes. So the important thing is identify your mind with it. Well, the mind's not real. No, my mind states are not real. Yes. And does the self suffer? No. But I'm suffering. I'm confused. I have doubts. Where are the doubts? Where is the confusion? Where is the suffering? In my mind. So just because self-realization from the standpoint of the absolute is not real, doesn't mean it's not important. What is my bondage? My bondage is I think I'm a person. I think I'm the body or the body plus its stories or the body plus the personality. The cause of that bondage is avidya, ignorance. What is moksha? What is liberation? The deeply rooted conviction in the mind based on aparoksha jnanam, direct experience. Meaning, I have attained this chitta shuddhi, this purity of the mind. I've reduced the frequency and the volume of thought to the point that there's some space. And then turning the light of the mind back on itself. Who are you? There's nothing there. It's no thing, yet it shines. It's vast and it's empty. A shoreless ocean. Supremely peaceful. Merge your mind in that. Or as Swamiji said earlier in the first chapter, drown the mind in the roar of whole. Never forget that Chatushpada, that fourth word. Turiya. All mental activity is ahuma. But don't forget the fourth. Mauna. actual emptiness. Next karika.
Nistu Nistuti Nirmamaskaro Niswadhakara Evacha Chala Niketascha Yateryadrishchako Bhavet. The sage of self-restraint should be above all praise and salutation, every prescribed rites, religious or otherwise. He should have the Atman as his only support for his body, and he must depend upon mere chances for his physical needs.
Yes. So there's nothing to do, nothing left to accomplish. I like to say that bodies, the body, mind, intellect, the robot, the android, put it on automatic pilot. You got a big red button, go. Watch it move through the world, impelled by the force of the past and the desires of other people. Let it do its duty. But that kartavya, that idea that somehow, if I just fix me or I fix the world, then it'll be okay. Or I'll be okay. All of that is gone. That struggler is blown out. But will I just do nothing? Don't worry. Your prarabdha will take care of maintenance of the body. Eventually, you're going to get up out of meditation because you have to pee. You're going to get hungry. You're going to fix this out. You got to pay the mortgage or the rent. You'll go to work. You'll do what you do. Always. Just watch it. It's a movie. Next verse.
Tattva madhyatmikam drishtva Tattvam drishtva tu bahyatah Tatvibhutastadaramas Tattvada prachuto bhavet. Having known the truth internally within the body as well as the same truth externally in the outer world, he becomes one with reality and therefore derives his pleasures from it, and never does he deviate from truth.
Yes. So, two things that realization gives us: existential freedom. I know I'm safe always. Two, I know where happiness is. And using the paradigm that Vidyaranya uses, we have Vasanananda, the bliss of deep sleep, where we prove the mind and the world are not necessary in order to be happy. Vishaya Ananda, the pleasure we experience through the objects. There's no real pleasure in the objects. It's just a mediated taste of myself. I use the people, places, things, and conditions to induce the momentary mind state of being free from low-level discontent, restlessness, and free Brahmananda. Yogi learns how to revel in the self, independent of the objects of the world. Ananda rasa swaha, tasting the juice of bliss. How many more in this chapter?
That was the last one.
Okay. This is a good place to stop. Any questions on this? We'll start the third chapter next week.
I have one, John.
Please.
In the previous Karika, he talked about knowing the nature of true reality, walking through life inert, something to the effect of like inert and non-reactive to it, right?
Yes.
And I just wonder, like, when I think of myself and what makes my life in this world tick and engage, it's human connection, which comes from love, or it comes from some sort of emotional aspect, right? And so I'm just wondering, because those enrich human lives as well, and how does that, because to me, being inert is not being that. And maybe that's where my relationship to it is going to be different. But I would love your take on that.
Okay. So when a child loves playing with its Legos, all engaged in playing with Legos. Any of you have kids who are just obsessed with Legos? It seems that there's.
I was one.
Yeah. Do you play with Legos now?
No.
Why not?
I should.
What happened to your desire for playing with Legos?
Hidden.
No, you have other desires that satisfy you more. Legos are irritable. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So for the woman or the man of realization, that's how they see the world. The world isn't bad. They're not inert, but it's just kid stuff. It's trinkets and baubles. It's pieces of colored glass. When the Jnani has the Chintamani, the wish fulfilled gem. So your mind is telling you love, personal connection, time with your friends, going out to a good dinner, having a few glasses of wine. All this, oh, that's where it's at. It's connection. We call that lokavasana. No playing. It's just another deeply rooted belief.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And how did you end up renouncing Legos?
Grow out of it.
Which means you found other things that brought you more satisfaction. I tell people I'm a hedonist. I'm just a pig. Thank God most of the people who knew me back in my piggish days are dead. I'm still a pig. But the world just got too small. It's like Legos. It's like a tricycle. don't fit anymore. Why would I give up the bliss of Brahman for such temporary, puny little things? But how old were you when you were a Lego fanatic?
8, 9.
8, 9. To an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. Good sex with a spouse. What's that sound like?
Yuck.
Oh, girls, they're icky. Isn't that how we are? Legos is where it's at. It's so true. Is that useful?
Yes.
And again, you can't flip off desire like a light switch. We only let something go when we see the inherent suffering in it. That's why the most fruitful meditation is Sakshi Bhava. Take on the viewpoint of the witness. Own your dukkha. When I'm upset, when I'm unhappy, ego tells me it's because the world's not behaving, or I'm a screw up. Yoga says it's because I'm stuck wanting. It's the wanting itself. It's so painful. Own your ananda. Watch your mind. Desire and object of desire become one. It's a taste of your self-nature. We get distracted through the variety of sensory experience and our ideas, which continues to tell me it's that person that's making me happy. It's this social situation that's making me happy. It's being successful at work that's making me happy. When in fact, all I'm doing is mind extroverts, that doesn't feel very good. I get what I want. Mind comes home for a moment to taste of myself. But it does no good for me just to say it. Each one of us has to watch the dynamics of the mind. See whether or not it's true. Okay, we gotta stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari